Morning. I know it's been a while, but I'm still alive. Right, today, bit of a different one. I'm on the Longmynd, out for some exercise. It's still locked down. We're not allowed out till April. So, different video today. Been busy while we haven't been able to do anything. And I've been doing a few little mods on two tents. One, the Lanshan 2. And the other one, the Cloudpeak 2. You'll be interested in this, I think. They are good tents, but they're cheap tents. But one or two little niggle shortfalls I think I've addressed. So, what we'll do one of these to get up to the hill. And we're here. Look who I found. Who's that?
Log one.
Right, we're on top of one of our favourite locations. Cracking place for a little camp this, but we're not camping. I'm just going to run through what I've done to both tents, and I did a little trick on the quilt as well, which you might be interested in. So just going to have a minute, and then I'll start putting one up. I'll show you what I've been doing. First thing you want with a Cloudpeak is to get rid of the bag it comes in and just put it into a roll top dry bag so you can squidge all the air out. Swap the pegs out for some slightly bigger ones. Now these are the ones that it comes with, these little metal ones. They're decent, but I think on the guys you can get these slightly bigger ones. So what I would do is find one of the corners and just clip that to your bag. So if it does blow a oolie, it ain't going to take off. So I'm just going to stick a couple of the corners out and then let the poles make the rest up. We've got one here. You'll have to move them again anyway, so just stick them in temporarily. So going in there. Right, I only thought of this morning, so it might not work. But if you're on your own and you're struggling with the poles to get started now, I thought you could bring them together. And can you clip them together there? Does it work? Look at that. So that'll give you a shake, because if it is windy, you want to kind of work your way around putting the clipping the sides up rather than having one side up and the wind ripping it apart. So you sort of go round and round one at a time. Right.
What's your initial thoughts of the tent then, Gord? Because I know you used it over on that hill there in the snow. So what's your initial thoughts of it?
Isn't it? I mean, it is a knockoff Alak Sulu. Hillyberg Sulu Alak are 800 to 1,000 quid. This is about 130 quid plus a little bit of tax that they've started levying on now. So it's never going to be as good, but it's got a lot of it. It's got the same space for the conditions that I probably go in, and the ones that I avoid, I think it'll probably do me and a lot of people. I think the poles are the sort of one of the weaknesses, and also these little clips and how it's all sewed together. If ever it's going to go, it's going to be an attachment point like that, and there's probably it'll go big style. But it's a hell of a gap in the money, isn't there, for them? So you just you can have a couple of 3 years out of it and it went, buy another one, you still got money in the bank, haven't you?
That's it, yeah.
So that's how you should end up with these centre ones taking on two poles. create the strength around there. So now you've got that sort of there, it's still quite loose, so you could pick it up and move it around if you wanted to, but now it's sort of got its shape given by the poles. It's just a question of pulling it out now. I use the little pegs for the corners, and I'm using the big ones for me guy lines. Right, there are little intermediate ones as well, just to give it a bit more, but I won't bother pegging them for what we're doing today. The other little mod are these guy lines, because when it comes, you just get a set of 6 lines to attach to these little loops, or these little tags, sorry, and that's it. So it's 1 per corner pegged out. But Mr. Purslow, and I think this idea is ripped off straight from the Hillyberg design, why not, has sort of doubled them up. So I can untangle them, because I did it like this so they'd be easy to untangle. So it quite worked. So 1 line off there, another line off this little loop that's sewn in for that clip, and then what you want to do is go round the pole. So actually they're grabbing hold of the pole and not just the tags. And then we've got a little metal ring there. So these 2 cords coming off the tent are actually a loop. And the idea is you run it through that little ring, and that can move up and down that loop depending on the angle of your ground and how far you're going to peg out. So you can come out to here, create a bit of a loop, put a peg in. So there you go. Right, this is the hat. It does only go on the right way, so you'll have to look at the shape of it. And it comes with quite narrow, flimsy bungee cords. So I've put some quite thick stuff on here. Gives it a lot more tension, because one of the thing people say is that the only criticism is that's quite on loose and it flaps in the wind. So I'm going to try and cure that. I don't know if this has cured it, but we're going to find out. Okay, that's all right. That's a lot more taut than it was the first time. Instead of having the hooks on these 2, I'm going to just tie them on so that they're always attached to the tent and in the right place. So what you can do if it is windy is just go round the pole as you tie them on, so that it's being attached to the pole as well as just that little tag. Just gives it a bit more pull. I did have an idea about threading something like a plastic cable through this seam just to give that edge, but actually I think that's going to be fine. Right, another little tip. Bought this off AliExpress, about £7. Just cut it up because it's a full length sleep pad, and it just makes a good, just a bit better than a typical sit mat, a bit more room. I wanted to show you this. Just made a couple of little elastic spring toggles, just something to put this little short door in, because the big door has a tie back on this side, but the half door doesn't, so it just flaps about. So it's just something to tie that back there. And then upstairs I've sewn these little loops in. There's 4 of them on all the sort of corners, and I've created like a little washing line out of the 4, and then in between the 2 I've got one of those little accessory hammocks. So these have got little pockets in them, both sides, and they're on a bit of line. I'll show you the one in the Lanshan in a bit, and that's just suspended off there. It probably fit just on one of those actually. Might doctor it again yet, but I wasn't quite sure how that was all going to work out. That's the Cloudpeak 2. Just a few quid and a few bits lying around. Bit of tougher bungee cord. See, that's a lot better now. Change these guy lines, double them up and wrap them around the pole. Bring them out. Gonna change these. Need something a bit better there. Little washing line in the roof. Just to put some stuff up out the way. Don't forget you got this massive pocket on here as well, which is great, but it's handy to put stuff up there if you want to reach for it in the night. And the little toggles on the doors, just to hold them back. The ground sheet was a bit of a fail, but just use one of them. I think that's it.